here for another real estate mortgage lunch and learn. And today, Terry and I are going to go through a few things. I'm really thrilled about today's presentation. Terry has taken some time to really dig deep into the subject and put together some ideas and some thoughts to help boost your bottom line with some summer marketing ideas. So Terry, welcome to another program, and thanks for being here.
Hey, it's always my pleasure to help realtors and loan originators create a better experience for our buyers and sellers. And Mike, here's the fun part. It's officially not snowing everywhere, I heard. So summer's pretty close. And one of the things that I note that, hey, we're halfway through 2014, if you can believe it or not. For those of us that have just put away our holiday decorations, it's June, which means if you're not loaded with cash, we're going to show you a couple of ways that you can change that, and believe it or not, fast. So I call it summer marketing because we're getting ready to hit the summer. What do you say? That sound good to you, Mike?
Oh yeah, it's always a good time of the year, and you're right. If it's not in the pipeline now, it's not going to close by the time June ends and we're halfway through the year. So anything that we can do to help out and help provide a strategy or an incentive for people to move forward, I think it's a great thing to do.
No kidding. And here's another thing. Nobody can use runway that's behind you. We've got some runway here before the end of the year, and my goal is to help people who've invested their time and interest and to join us today to get some info. So here's the ticket. We always used to say if you just keep on doing what you've been doing, you're going to have what you got before, and I'm saying that ain't working. We have to connect in a different and new way, and I'm going to show you some great information that did not come from Terri Murphy, but has been proven to work. Now, we have all heard and are sick of and are intimidated by or whatever about all of these incredible new channels. And if you've been selling real estate for a while, come on, it's about me and my people. Well, how people are connecting is the key, and how you connect with them using those keys are what we're going to talk about. Now, here's the thing. It's about conversations. If we only understood that social media is about a conversation and not about a selling tool, we're going to have better results, Mike, and it's a conversation. Conversation means we say something, we put it out there for engagement, and here's the part that we're looking for, response. We're looking for response. We want to hear what they're thinking and what they're saying. So this is about conversations and how, and I need to be that presenter, by the way, just so you know, because Michael Crisa is going to join us, I believe. And why I wanted Michael on the call, Michael White, is because Michael Crisa is one of the reasons that we are speaking about today, and that's something he's really good at. So here it is. We know that we have to have 24/7 real-time information and connectivity. We have to have it in real time because people just don't work 9 to 5. We are global, going hyper-local. And so we're going to focus today on two things. We're going to focus on hang on a second. I see a little pop-up here, so hang on a second. We're going to focus on YouTube, and we're going to focus on Facebook. And the reason for that is because those two are the two that we're going to be looking at on how to maximize our digital footprint, because for summer we've got so many more opportunities. And I'm having a little problem here getting this to move by, Michael, so hang on just one second. Here we go. There we go, Facebook. So I wanted to introduce Michael Crisa. He's that interview guy. He created tablet video for agents. He's the Easy Agent video guy. And Michael, are you on?
Hey, I'm here, baby. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. And Michael Crisa and Mike White. Here, Michael, I was just going to brag on you a little bit because, tablet video for agents is something that I know is a tremendous tool for connection. We're all crazy about how much we're spending and time and whatever, and yet Michael White says it's about the results. If you're not connecting and converting more prospects to profits, it's because you might not be doing anything. And I wanted to let them know that you are that interview guy and you are the video king. Talk to us a little bit about what you always say on tablet video for agents.
What do I always say? That Terri Murphy's the greatest. I love Mike White, and I want to be like both of you when I grow up.
Come on, get serious. Here's the thing.
Sorry.
We know that video is not just for like the Cecil B. DeMille's. It's a tool that we can use every single day, and I've got some great examples that you've shared with me.
Video is all about what I call the trifecta, Terry. It's the trifecta of know, like, and trust. And when people get to watch you on video, in their minds, they're perceiving you to be an authority. So if you can do a sentence, and you're relatively articulate and your knuckles don't drag, you will be perceived as an authority in your niche. So if you're a lender, people are looking for authenticity. You don't have to be a movie star. You don't have to be Brad Pitt. It's basically just be who you are. And over time, when people watch your videos, it creates what I say, that trifecta of know, like, and trust.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in just a second, Michael Creasout. Here's the thing. You said most people retain 95% of a message that they see in a video compared to only 10% of what they read in a text. And we all know that because there are only, 4 billion YouTube videos being downloaded a day. Would that be accurate?
4 billion are viewed every single day, and of that right now, Terry, 25% is on mobile. And by 2017, they're anticipating that 75% of all internet traffic will be mobile video. So they're watching on their tablets and on their iPhones, on their mobile devices. And
like you said, it's about know, liking, and trust you, because right now, if a celebrity walked in, would we not think we knew them, right? There's a higher value attributed to video because it's a higher form of content. Therefore, the value attributed to that content is higher. So it's deemed to be worth more than something that's written or heard. Well, this is one of your inputs as well, and you say 1/3 of an online video activity is watching video. So here's the deal. It's people are watching video, so why aren't realtors and loan originators taking advantage of this medium that's ubiquitous? I don't know. The reason, Terry, is the perception is it's too hard to do, it's too expensive. The reality is people are just afraid of looking dumb and not knowing what to say. And like anything, like going to a gym or jumping into a swimming pool the first time, the more you do it, the more comfortable it becomes, and it becomes second nature. Yeah, well, here's what I set up, Michael. I've taken the best of Michael Creasout and things that Michael White and I have done. We've got double Michaels going on today. And I put together 10 tips. And so I'd like to go through them, and I'd like you to jump in as well as Mike White on why we know this works. Now, here's the thing. It can get Nutrisystems, I've lost 1 million pounds. Well, you have to eat cardboard, which means, and you can't have your M&Ms anymore. So, yeah, you're going to lose weight. This is not hypothetical. This isn't a maybe. This is guaranteed. Write that down. This is guaranteed. If you do even 2 or 3 of these activities that we're going to suggest, you're going to see a real-time response. And that's the one thing that realtors and loan originators have a little problem with, and that is trying something that they've always done in a kind of a new way. And I'm going to talk about what you can do to be different from and better than your competitors that doesn't cost a lot of money, Michael, and we can get it done. So the first one I said is you've got to have your own YouTube channel. Now, I wanted to show Jack Cotton here. He's a luxury specialist, and his YouTube channel is loaded. And we know that that video is so strong in creating a digital footprint. And what are your comments about having a YouTube channel? Me or Mike White? Michael Creasout to start. Oh, sorry. Well, YouTube we like free. YouTube is a free channel, so it's a great place to get started. And treat it like a playground. Get your videos out there, tag them properly with right descriptions and keywords. That's what Google looks for because Google owns YouTube. And as I said, if you're using video, if you're looking for rankings, SEO rankings, there is no better way than using video. And here's that. And Mike White, let's just do that. You'll be Mike White and you'll be Michael Creasout. Mike White, we know that realtors have always said, oh, we want leads. And we know that leads aren't any good. What we really want are people who want to buy and sell, right?
Yeah, I think the lead possibility thing is overdone. I think it's more about generating opportunity. It's like anything else. If you make a baseball team and you're sitting on the bench, you don't get a chance to hit. So you need at-bats. Just because you made the team doesn't mean you get a shot to get up there and hit. So there's a difference between getting a lead and having a real opportunity. And the opportunity to speak to somebody and communicate with them is really what we all have to drive for because, again, making the team is great, but if you don't get an at-bat, you don't get a chance to get to first base, and that's what we're all looking to do. I think we're way too focused on trying to generate leads without understanding what really is an opportunity.
Well, that's a great analogy. And let me just state here that here's the thing. We've put some of these examples of real-life people who started at zero and are doing extremely well because they've taken that next step. This is about taking one next step. And you're going to get a plethora of information. You're going to want to just do one step at a time. So don't get overwhelmed. I don't want you sitting there going, this is too crazy for me. But a YouTube channel costs how much, Michael Creasa?
Free. Absolutely free.
It's a free. Now what happens is you pretend you're NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox News. You have your own channel. And what that means is that you can have the opportunity to divide that channel just like you do on television to sub-programming. And we're going to go through some of the options that you can do to use both video, which is where YouTube likes to have their videos live, and Facebook. Now, let's pretend for the next step that you're arriving at a party. You don't immediately start selling. What you do is you what? You introduce yourself. Now, one of the coolest things I've seen, both Michaels, is that Jimmy Fallon, it's the first time you go to Jimmy Fallon's site, he has an introductory video. And he goes, hey, I'm Jimmy Fallon. I just recently took over the Tonight Show, and it's as if he's talking to you. Well, how gracious is that? Instead of saying, look at what I sell, this is what I do. Introduce yourself. Let us get to know you. The bridge for engaging the consumer starts with the same thing everything else does, what Michael already talked about, which is know, like, and trust. I get to know you first. I get to see and experience you, just like you do when you see Brad Pitt at the movies. If he walked in, you're like, oh, I know him. You really don't, but you've had the experience. And so that's what I'm saying. Create an introductory video. Hi, I'm Terri Murphy, and I love selling property in Libertyville, Illinois. And let me tell you why I live here. This is a choice. And then you can go back into saying, giving some tips about where you live and work and why you've chosen that and families that have enjoyed it. Let us see who you are. And you don't have to be Jimmy Fallon to do it, but you have the same power. Anybody have any comments there before I go on to tip number 3?
You absolutely do have the same power, Terri, because our brains can't differentiate between a really big screen TV, our monitor, or an iPhone. As far as it's concerned, it's moving pictures and sound, and you're now at that same level because people are watching you. It's the magic box is talking, and they're engaged.
And we know that that's particular for Gen X and Gen Y. And Michael White, one of the things that we do know is that in general, realtors and loan originators don't state their position as being the champion for the buyer and the seller because we've been so used to selling ourselves and our features instead of our benefits. So in an introduction video, wouldn't it be cool if a realtor and a loan originator got together and talked about the teamwork that they provide when they help people buy and sell homes? Would you agree that that might not be a pretty good engagement strategy?
Sure, Terri. I encourage my realtors and loan officers to get together and work on simple things. For instance, frequently asked questions. Having a list of things that most people tend to ask about either the process or about how things work or timing. Everybody knows the most frequently asked questions they get asked. And imagine if, and I'm not saying we don't answer them for the people, but imagine if you get that phone call and somebody asks you about the process and you explain to them exactly how the process works, and you follow it up with an email saying, hey, it was great to speak to you this afternoon about whatever the case may be, and here's a simple video that I put together in case you have any further questions or if you'd like to share the information. And now what happens? They've got something there. It's you speaking back to them about what they wanted to know. If they've got a partner or a spouse or a significant other that's involved, they can share the idea just as easily because it's coming from you. It's no longer that game of telephone where somebody gets in the way of what the message is. And this is not about, the old days where it's the picture of me on the page, I've sold $100 billion worth of houses, and that's why you need to use me. People don't care about that anymore. They don't want to be sold anything. They want information, and they want to be shared solutions. And if you can be the one that shares the solution clearly for them, then you become the most likely option.
Exactly right. And so here's my point. You'd never walk into a party without saying, "Hi, I'm Terri Murphy." You would have an introduction, and this is a perfect way to do it. Now, coming up is one of the key paradigms for selling Gen X and Gen Y, and that is how we connect with lifestyle. And Michael, Chris, I'm going to ask you to jump in on this, because we know that 62.7%, according to NAR's 2012-13 report, are looking more for the lifestyle than the actual house. The house is important, but the lifestyle around the house is important. And so you have John Parks, who's one of your guys, that does a home tour, which really gives not only where the house sits, but a little bit about the home tour. Why don't you tell us about John Ross?
Well, the whole thing here, Terri, when you talk about lifestyle, you're selling the story, right? And people buy into a story. That's the real power of video. That's how we learn, through stories, through parables. In this case, what John Ross is doing, you can see him there. He's in his car. So when we talk about how technical video has to be, he's using his iPhone. Okay, so he's doing a selfie with his iPhone, and then he's going through the house using his iPhone. And then he puts that onto his iPad to do the editing, and before he gets back to the office, he's already created the video and uploaded it, ready to go.
Now that sounds pretty technical, but I know that especially if they follow the video tablet for agents, that's not that hard, and you don't need a Mac, although the Mac people like to think so. But here's what we're trying to say. You have some great videos, and I want to tell you the bloopers are the most fun, of agents using video in their everyday business. And because of the medium here, we can't show the live video, but I'm going to encourage everyone to go to some of these sites after and just see what these other agents are doing. We have a guy on a tractor using video. We have a woman who's trying to sell a house, and she's in the pool with her seller. I mean, it's fun. It's not so, what do I want to say, intimidating. But the other thing is that you talked about lifestyle, and there you are eating ice cream. Tell us about this lifestyle video.
Well, this has become an ongoing gag with me. It's my favorite ice cream place. So I'll do it during the season, when it closes down, excuse me, in the fall. And the part of this ritual is I hate maraschino cherries. So I've got something that I'm sharing in terms of the story, but I'm ending it off with firing this maraschino cherry. You cannot believe how many emails I get from people telling me that they're now starting to do the same thing. But at the end of the day, what I've done, I've created now a friendship and a following. So when people meet me now, I'm no longer some on a pedestal type guy. They think they already know me. So let's go back to what we talked about at the beginning. It's all about know, like, and trust. People now feel like they know, like, and trust me.
Well, and again, it's you have one of your clients actually goes around and does video with the local restaurants so that new buyers can come in and actually experience some of the food. And this guy just runs around eating free food. Fun. The key word here is fun. So one of the other things that I think can be helpful here is when you start going about lifestyles, when you start shooting about the community, showing the park, showing the kids playing ball, that kind of thing. Would you agree that that helps as well as just local vendors, Michael Creasa?
Well, absolutely, because people aren't buying the house. That's the last thing on the list. First they look at the state, then they look at the city, the town, the neighborhood, the street, and then finally the house. So getting back to the practicality of doing video, all those levels, when you take the house out of the equation, that's what I call evergreen video. That once you film the parks and the points of interest, that's the kind of video that can live on the web forever. And that's still quietly sending traffic back to your site. And when you're in that video, it's one more opportunity for, what do we say, to get people to know, like, and trust you.
Exactly, and this is one of the places as a real estate professional, I used to like to have lifestyle videos with people I worked with, and we're going to talk about other ways to do this. And I think that the next tip is one of those places to use it, and that's be specific with your videos and be a resource. So here's one for you to look at. This is Chuck Carlton, and I've been following Chuck for a long time. Since you first told me about how he sits in front of his webcam with Milton Daily Homes updates, and tell us what he does.
Well, there's two parts to this equation. The first is when you go to his website, you'll see a simple video introducing who he is. There's no listings. There's no anything. He just says, look, if you want the inside scoop on the listings, sign up, and then I'm going to give you a realtor's perspective. So what he's done then is right at the get-go, they have to put in a name, an email address. He's aggregating a list. He's building a database. And then every day he gets on to his computer. This is a webcam you're looking at right now. And he just reviews the dailies that come up on his computer. Literally, he's going through picture by picture because he's using a piece of software called Camtasia, which captures his screen, and he's giving them the inside scoop, that insider information that everybody wants. Now, to put this in perspective, last year he did over $500,000 in gross commissions doing this.
And listen to me. He sits in front of his webcam. Now, it's not fair that he looks good because some of us don't look that good on our webcams. Get a good webcam, and all he does is creates a vertical where he's the celebrity authority on what's hot in the market.
Yeah, but he's not wearing any pants, Terry, so don't get too excited about
Oh,
this.
stop it. So, Mike White, wouldn't this work as well with your loan originator? Couldn't you also have a segment every other day or week about finances or what's happening in the market?
Sure, Terry. I've got a loan originator that is in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, of all places, and he is very active in the community, in the Chamber of Commerce, and everybody knows who he is. And much like the person we saw before, he shoots a video every Monday from the front seat of his car. And he talks about what's going on in the community. He talks about what's going on in the marketplace. He may or may not even provide mortgage information. It's not necessarily necessary for him to do that because he starts it. They know he's the mortgage person. He identifies himself as the local mortgage expert in the area, but more so he's identified with all the other special professionals and all the great product and service providers within the community. And by association, he develops the reputation of being on that level. So every week he's got somebody that he is either going to interview or share a value proposition with everybody. He talks a little bit about the community. He talks about the service. He talks a little bit about himself. And out it goes to his database as well as his Facebook page. And his business, as he started doing these videos, has increased exponentially, not only for himself, but he manages an office, and he's been able to recruit 2 brand new loan originators because they saw what he was doing and wanted to know how he was doing it and thought what he was doing was a great idea. So not only does he generate business for himself within the community, he's generating opportunities to grow his company because other people are seeing what he's doing and have decided it's better to be part of what he's doing than to compete against them.
And you see, he just started with the first one, and one of the key things I say is if you don't like the way you look on video, get over it. That's how you look. As you get more comfortable, you're going to do better. Don't you agree?
Well,
Michael
let's be honest
Creaser.
with you guys, the video part about this thing is we all are more concerned about how we look than other people care how we look. And
Yeah,
but
there's
get past
that.
It's a much easier thing to deal with.
Well, we started this tip with be specific, and one of the best examples of that is one of the coaching clients of Michael Creaser, and that is Susie, and she does school specialization. Can you tell us a little bit more about Susie, Michael Creaser?
Well, she wanted to differentiate herself from the pack. So what she thought, as a mother with kids, what's important to me? And school, education. So all she did was took readily available facts that are already out there. There's a report published every year that ranks the schools, the top 50. And so what she did, she took that list and then she personalized it by saying, here's what I think about this school. So literally she walks out there with her husband who's shooting her with the video. She's got her little microphone there that's got her brand on it. And she just basically stands up front of the school and talks about it. Now, what's happened as a result, the controversy that's come from this, is some of the schools don't do so well. But that's public knowledge. And what happened last year, actually, was the school board's lawyer told her to cease and desist, which, basically politely she told him where to go. But as a result of it, it became a David versus Goliath story that went right across the country. Now, you want to talk about free exposure. Oh, my gosh. She's getting clients now from Texas, from Germany, all across Europe, because, first of all, they're looking for schools for their kids. She's become the go-to person.
And here's the thing. What he was talking about is a microphone flag. Michael, those cost $40, give or take. You can make your own if you were good at crafts. But what it does is it kind of gives it that celebrity authority that is the same kind of microphone flag that's on ESPN, it's on CBS. Whenever you see an interviewer, people are more likely to speak into a microphone that has a flag box because it makes you look even more like a celebrity authority. Now, isn't this a great idea? Again, what can you do that's different from or better than, that helps people know, like, and trust you? She has the credibility because she has kids. How incredible is that? So I'd like to move on to tip number 5. Does somebody have a comment? Go ahead.
Yeah, this could be if I'm a skier, if I'm a scuba diver, if I'm a motorcyclist, whatever that passion is for you, that's the other part of this. You can be that niche specialist that they identify with and still be wearing your lender's cap.
There you go. And that would be niche in this country. He said niche. It's just so much sexier when you're Canadian, but thank you very much.
Oui, madame.
Yeah. Hey, tip number 5, announce and cover community events. Now, this is one of my favorites, and I don't know if either of you are familiar with the Nellis Group, but James Nellis has been one of the pioneers in using video to position himself. And if you go to his YouTube page, you'll see that he has a fall festival, and they do, face painting, and they have giveaways for the local military, and I'll show you later what he does with all of that. Here is what I think is one of the most pivotal ways to become the celebrity authority in your marketplace is to cover events. And I'm telling you right now, he has got it down. He covers a number of things. Let me show you how he leverages that a little bit on his Facebook page. He talks about, yes, he has housing available on his Facebook page. He also covers the discounted restaurants. So just as you were speaking about earlier about the schools, here's another way to differentiate yourself and to share it on Facebook. You want to watch the videos. You don't. He's just covering them. There's music behind him. You don't have to speak the whole time. But again, you're kind of like the reporter that positions how you are connected to your community. And Michael, I know that there are some restrictions for lending, but there are the 5 biggest mistakes or the 5 questions that people should ask. Michael White, on the lending side, I find that Facebook is a great way, with only 1 billion people on it, to be able to leverage that intellectual and experiential capital. And I know you had a whole initiative for restaurants that you teach in your coaching series.
Yeah, Terry, one of the things that we do, and again, that's why we talk about Facebook, it's real simple to be compliant. You set up your business page, you make sure all your license numbers and everything are on that page. It's easy to get that out of the way from a compliance standpoint. We also know that we never speak specifically about any particular product or any particular rate. If you leave the product conversation and you leave the rate conversation out of the mix, and you're not advertising any of those things, you can save yourself a great deal of aggravation. But to be honest, this is a great example of sharing with restaurants. I used to have a restaurant right down the block from my office, and I used to go there quite frequently, and I always noticed that on Tuesday nights there was never anybody in the restaurant. And I spoke to the manager about it, and he couldn't figure out himself why he didn't have any people in there. And we took it upon ourselves to offer, to get a 2-for-1 offer out of him. It would be buy one, get one free. And I used to go around and I'd share that information with the people in my database. I would also share that with people that I worked with. And people would know Tuesdays between 4 and 7, if they went there with and mentioned us or brought in the coupon, that they would get a 2-for-1. Well, I also used that as a way to have my professional meetings. I would meet referral partners or clients at that restaurant for dinner during those times. And it almost happens to be like the Cheers effect, because people are going to be in that restaurant who are in there because you sent them the the value-added proposition of the buy one, get one in that restaurant. And it's almost like Norm when he walks into Cheers. You'd walk in there and, hey, Mike, it's Mike the mortgage guy. And everybody'd look around. Well, how come everybody in here knows who you are? Well, they know who I am because I'm the one that sent them here. And if you don't think that the wait staff and the management team at that restaurant don't appreciate that you can drive business to them, it gets to be a point where I would see between 1 and 2 transactions a month as a direct referral from people in that restaurant, whether they be part of the wait staff or somebody that was also in that restaurant, only because it was a place that was there, it was a place where I was, and people had a way of knowing who I was without me having to say anything about it, other than the fact that I was driving traffic to them. And I think this is a perfectly great use. And now I can only imagine the exponential value of using something like Facebook and being able to share it with hundreds, if not thousands, of Facebook friends.
Well, this is something I want to share with you as well. And look at this. Tip number 6 is add photos and photo albums and video links to your Facebook business page. And I want to show you how powerful this is. This just recently came from Fast Company. Wishpond reported that photo posts get 120% more engagement than average posts, with photo albums getting about 180%. So photo albums, again, if I was Nellis covering that program, if you go to his Facebook page, he has a whole photo album of that event. Think albums. Think about what you can post, and not about necessarily you, but people with you, or people that are at the event, or people that are supporting it. So I want to show you what he did here. He covered, they did a program for Lyme disease. And again, he's in the picture, but you can see that there's lots of other people and their finish lines. He has a photo album, 39% more views, 93% more engagement when you post pictures. Again, he's got a nice balance of offering property, which is, remember, this is not a selling channel, it's a sharing channel, and yet he has so much personalization on that. Hey, Michael Creasa, have you noted that pictures really help, especially with video links?
Oh, yeah, all kinds of anything that's going to be visually stimulating is going to help.
And that's what we're talking about here. You share things in real time. You've got your iPhone or your smartphone. You've got an iTablet. You take the pictures. Anybody can upload pictures, even the grandparents, so I know that this isn't hard. But you need to sit back and say, what's my call to action? What do I want to be known for? What do I want to represent in my community? Because one of the promises we said was, for this investment of your time, is what can you do to be the hero of your community? Well, when you're supporting people, when you're giving and becoming a resource, and they know it without you saying this is all about me, you're going to get more engagement. Which brings me to the next one, which is testimonials on Facebook and YouTube. I wanted to show you how he did on Facebook. He gave people some tickets, I guess, to a game, and he said, thank you for helping us get our dream home. This is like implied endorsement. Michael Creasa, tell me how strong that works.
Oh, this is huge, and you have to get it right at the time when you've done something. So right at the point of sale, or in a lender's perspective, right at that time when you made the loan come through and they didn't think it was going to happen, and be specific with it. It can't be, that Mike White is a really nice guy and I love the colors of his shirts. That's not a testimonial. It's got to be something along the lines of, we didn't think we were going to get a mortgage, but he got it for us at 2 points below prime and saved us X number of dollars per month. That's something that's distinctive, informative, and it's a definite hook that people can believe. It's credible.
And Michael White, one of the things that we try to do is show how that golden partnership can be supportive of both the realtor and the loan originator and the experience for the buyer and the seller. And we talked about how easy it would be for the loan originator to be that person featured on the realtor site in a testimonial, standing in the yard with the sold sign going up, and vice versa. Why don't you tell us from your perspective some of the creativity that we know that loan originator and realtor relationship can support when it comes to that moment when the commitment comes through?
Well, Terri, we have, a lot of different ways of engaging, and one of the things that we share most is the simple closing. That's when everything comes together. That's when the dream really comes true. And what started a few years ago with Facebook and just taking pictures of people at the closing and putting them on the Facebook page has now grown into video testimonials. And just asking the people at the closing table, describe for us how the process went, or tell us a little something about your realtor. And people at the table will often be very gracious and very forthcoming and very real and believable. And even in something as little as 15 to 30 seconds from your iPhone, you can record that moment. And that can go on your Facebook page. You can put it on your realtor's Facebook page. You can share it with the client. You can share it with the seller. And remember, exponential impressions. If you've got a few hundred people that are Facebook friends, and each one of those people have a few hundred Facebook friends, next thing you know, there are thousands of views of what just took place, because everybody wants to be part of the happiness, which is people closing their deal. And I tell you, it has become priceless. to me and to the people that I work with that going there and being in a position to attend the closing and ask that simple question, and you will get occasionally some people who do not want their picture taken or who do not want to offer, a video, but most people will. And I tell you, it has been the biggest growth prospect in the business that I have seen in many years.
And see, it's all about that trust factor. If I'm comfortable and I'm happy, I'm going to tell a lot of people, where it used to be so limited, now it's just on steroids. You've got so much power in the ability to leverage that comfort. It's not about you, but the comfortable, secure, know, like, and trust that Michael Creasa talked about earlier. And I'm a big proponent of that because people want to make an informed decision, and so we've got to watch how our digital footprint looks. I found, first of all, I'm a big fan of Ebby Halliday, which is a company out of Texas. Ebby's still around and plays her ukulele. This was a person who just gave a testimonial about the entire experience. It's clear he's just sitting there at home talking about what happened. It's only a minute. We want to keep those videos, Michael Creasa, under 90 seconds usually. Would you agree?
Yeah, a minute and a half, tops 2 minutes. You want to keep it short, sweet, and right to the point.
Yeah, remember, you don't know what it's being streamed on, if it's an iPhone or an iPad or whatever, but here's the deal. All I have to see is that somebody was happy. I want that comfort. I mean, even if you're buying, CD covers, I mean, whatever you're buying, you want that comfort level that you're doing the right thing. So one of the things that I wanted to add was a bonus tip, and that is I loved interviewing local partners. And Michael White, in our previous programs, I have featured a lovely woman from College Station, Texas, who just runs around as a mom, as a community person, and when she picks up her kid's bike that got fixed, she interviews the bike guy. When she picks up her Mexican food at the restaurant, she interviews the Mexican restaurant owner. We're talking about 30 seconds about why they like doing business in College Station. She puts it up on her blog. They help support her blog because they're getting free access to her database. She looks like a tremendous hero to them because they're getting the word out. She knows the new people that are coming into town, and she does this all on her iPhone. And she does it while she's juggling 3 kids and a full-time career. So you can't tell me you don't have time. But I also think that it makes people feel comfortable when you are positioned, and I think both Michaels will agree with me on this, that when you're interviewing, as an example, your loan originator as a realtor, when you're interviewing the attorneys that might be part of a closing process on what can happen, what people need to do, why they need to have the professional. Again, short and sweet, but it shows that you have a commitment to what you do and how you do it. Michael Creasa, who else have you seen people do for local interview partners?
Oh, it's whatever your imagination is, Terri. Yeah, you can, from a realtor's perspective, I can go down to the fire hall and interview the firefighters down there and give me safety tips that I need to know about the house. Home inspector, what are some of the things I need to look for? It could be seasonal, as we get into winter up here in Canada, which is 364 days of the year. What do I have to do to keep my house warm? What should I do to insulate? Basically, the only limiting factor in producing video content is your imagination.
I think that's a great one. And Michael White, any contribution there?
Yeah, I think we have to always remember that whatever the product or the service that's out there, somebody needs it. Somebody wants to use that. Those businesses are in business for a reason, regardless of what it could be. I've got a loan officer whose #1 referral partner is a blacksmith. Now, I don't run around the country teaching people how to do better in the mortgage business by telling them, hey, you got to go find a blacksmith because they're the best referral partners. It just turns out in this particular area, in this particular location, the person that gets around and speaks to the people and is having conversations with people who have a specific need happened to be this particular gentleman. And my loan officer helped him get a house and went through all the challenges that the people that blacksmith was using, and then he just said every time they had a conversation, we're going to buy a house with bigger property or a bigger barn. And he said, well, you have to be careful because not everybody knows how to lend on those type of transactions. You need to call my guy and get him to help you. It's the most amazing thing in the world. You never know where business is going to come from. So where you go, where you spend your money, where you know the service to be excellent, where you think that they are an outstanding, exceptional product or service provider. And even if you only did one of those once a month and just shared it with your database, shared it with your Facebook page, even just once a month, it would be 12 times a year you'd be reaching your community and your environment. That's not happening now in a completely different method. That's not just pounding them either talking about mortgage or talking about real estate. We're engaging them, and let's be honest, if you're providing value to your people, it's much more likely they're going to open and look at what you're sending them. And as long as they keep looking, you keep burning those brain cells so that when the time comes for them to need you or want you or refer you, they know exactly how to do it.
This is what we call in relationship selling, building the bridge to that point where you've earned the right to ask for some kind of a sale, referral, or whatever. And it takes an investment. And that's why there's a lot of realtors that are not listening or learning how to do this. So in my opinion, and I've been in the business a long time, I still have people calling me to buy and sell real estate because they had a good experience and they know that we had their back. So at the end of the day, you want to show that you're part of the team. And I just threw in a little review here so that we all knew, make Facebook pay big with prospects that want to buy or sell now. And you do that by positioning yourself. You want to know that incorporating 1 minute of video pays off more than 1.8 million word blog posts and over 3,600 pages of content on the web. So 1 minute of video is a huge payoff, and you can do this. You want to leverage local events for high visibility for little or no investment, and you want to make a difference for $0 to become the hero of your community. If there is already an initiative, cover it with video. If you've got the winners after make a local race, put it on your Facebook page, because Facebook has 1 billion users. People go there. It's not just about social. You should have a business page. I want to show you, we showed you this last week, Michael Creasa, or last month, where Linda Hall, who does very well, features kind of more of a lifestyle of what she does in selling real estate. You can see she has a dog, there's golf, there's housing, there's sailing. She's in a little tiny town. She owns the place, and what she does is she leverages important information that's interesting to homeowners, and she doesn't have to pay for it. She goes to Zillow and gets 10 surprising things that lower the value of your home. You know, if that's interesting, you're going to plug in, and notice she still has information about housing. So at the end of the day, we want you to make a move to do something different that produces different results. And the first is always going to be the hardest. But pretty much I'll bet you've got an iPhone or some kind of smartphone, or you've got an iPad. And Michael Creasa's program, and Michael, tell us how many modules is your tablet agent for video?
Oh gosh, it's about 3 hours worth of content that literally walks them through the hand, the art of storytelling, the psychology behind video, and it's geared on the iPad. And what I'm seeing in real estate right now, as we're moving closer and closer to a full paperless platform, the iPad is the tablet of choice. And when it comes to shooting video, get that little app called iMovie for $5. That's what makes it all happen.
And I know you've got a ton of good information on that. So, again, we're just here to familiarize you with some good tools. And I think you ought to join us next, right after the 4th of July. We're going to have another coaching session with Mike White. We want it to be valuable. Let us hear from you. Go to ImproveMyTomorrowCoaching.com. Tell us what you'd like to hear, a problem that you have. We probably already have the solution from top producers all over the country. These lunch and learns are pretty good. Michael White, why don't you give them a little background about that in case they're just joining us?
Again, if this is the first time that you've got to experience one of our lunch and learns, we want to welcome you to the family, and hopefully you can thank the person that invited you because they've made an investment in themselves and an investment in you to help increase the number of opportunities you both can share. For those of you who have come across us by a personal invitation, the lunch and learns are a strategy that we go through every month. You can see what we did today. We try to bring a point of focus for the realtors and the mortgage professionals to work together to increase their opportunities. Now, it's very reasonable for the mortgage professional to get involved. We only charge $999 a year. You have access to all the information that we do on the lunch and learns. You have access to our website, which contains all the materials. You often get downloadable reports and ebooks. And we also have one-on-one coaching available for those who want to take it to the next level, both on the mortgage side and on the real estate side. And for you realtors who are on this call, if business is not going the way you'd like and you think you need a little more help and a little more direction for somebody who's proven to do it, you can have access to one of the finest real estate coaches in the country for less than $1,000 a year. And that includes a 45-minute business assessment call where you get to sit with Terri and go through your business and where you are, and one 30-minute accountability session each month so that she can keep you on the path and make suggestions to you as to how to improve your business. And with that, you're going to get a complimentary CD set, customizable for you, and you're going to have access to these lunch and learns as well. So anything that you want to talk about, whether it be on the mortgage side or whether it be on the real estate side for coaching, whatever tools or techniques that you would like to employ or are thinking about, we're here to help. And you can reach out to us at improvemytomorrow.com. We're here. You can reach Terri and myself. If you have any questions, just reach out and let us know. We'll get right back to you, and we'll provide whatever help we can and whatever direction we can. And Terri and Michael, I appreciate your time today, and thanks for being part of this presentation.
Yes, thanks, Michael Creasa, for joining us. And I know that people can get more information at that interviewguy.com and your other site, Tablet Video for Agents. Michael Creasa, thank you for being with us. And Michael White, I will be talking soon, and I hope everybody has a great month end. We'll see you July the 8th, same time, same station. Thanks, everybody.
See you, kids.